but give an example of a game that should have gotten Game of the Year but didn't.
Honestly,
look at.
last year, fucking Elden Ring, it was most of it is freaking gameplay. The story
It's
is
still
so
it's
buried
still a
behind.
single player only game.
Hold it. I swear to God, if you say Red Dead Redemption, I'm going to beat your ass. Because
I
that
didn't
is a
say
big
Red
ass
Dead. Who
argument
said
that
Red?
pisses
Who
me
said
off.
Red Dead?
Nobody brought that up, Jake.
Nobody brought that up. I said Elden
Hold
Ring.
it, hold it, hold it. He said
What about
name a
Red
game
Dead?
of the year that you think deserved. Name a game that you think deserved Game of the Year.
Yeah, but nobody said Red Dead. You did.
Yeah, no,
Nobody brought
not one
that up.
person.
Okay.
Yeah, but there was an
okay.
argument about that.
So
An
wait, you didn't
example,
like Red Dead?
I think something like Rocket League. It's a perfect game, like genuinely flawless game,
That'll
but because it
never
doesn't have a
get Game of the
story.
Year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a perfect 100% flawless game. It's completely original, completely unique. There's nothing like it. It's done flawlessly, but it's never going to win a Game of the Year because they'll give it to some random story game instead.
I agree that it's unique. I do not agree that it's flawless.
Okay,
What is not flawless about Rocket
How
League?
old is that game?
It came out in 2015.
Yeah. it's
Well,
not
there you go.
completely
That's why
new.
it's never gonna win it because it wasn't released this year.
Yeah, but like in that year, it should have won.
Should it?
There were
don't-
better
Yes.
games.
Yeah.
The
What won
majority
in
of like there's a
2015?
large majority of people who strongly disagree with what you're saying, and those people are the reason why that it'll never win.
It's just
What, I'm trying.
it
to
would
see-
be nice to see variety. Like I keep hearing about story games. Like I just don't want to hear about like media
Oh
covering
hell
story
no,
game,
no,
story game,
no.
story
Witcher
game.
deserve that.
Like
I don't.
I've heard so much shit about Zelda, and you barely hear anything about like the non-story games. Like people
'Cause nobody
only care about
cares.
the fact that
Yeah.
Overwatch 2 is a story game. But like there's movies, you know, like games fulfill a niche. I feel like the storyness of it, it's not a separate niche. Whereas
people
like
wanna
the
be
gameplay is something
entertained,
that
and
is a
people-
niche.
Yeah, dude, I
get
fucking
entertained
love
by
story-based
stories.
games. Like watching a movie and all that is fine and all, but a lot of the times I actually want to sit down and engage with something and experience a good story. That's why I love the
When
God
you
of
watch
the
a
God of War
movie-
games. I loved The Last of Us because it was fun to play and had a great story. There's
I
nothing wrong
found
with that.
God of War so boring because it was just cutscene after
Bruh, the
cutscene. I
story
played like
was
an hour of it.
amazing.
It was
Yeah,
atrocious.
that's
I
the
couldn't
thing
play
with
it.
you. Like for you, it's got to be always gameplay all the time, and it's like, while there are games like
like-
that, and you play them, but there are people that love having a good story.
I know, but that should be story of the year, not game of the year. Like games should be dependent on the gameplay. That's
Game is
what matters.
everything, not just gameplay. Game of the year is everything. If everything works, it's game of the year. You already know there's categories for everything else. There's
Yeah.
already categories for
But
best multiplayer game, best competitive game, best gameplay game. There's all kinds of stuff, but game
but a
of the
proper
year is
multiplayer game is
everything.
never going to win game of the year because people only vote based on story.
We need to take.
That's
No,
what
they
I'm saying.
vote
And I'm
based
tired.
on everything.
They do.
They
Based
vote
on
based on
story.
everything.
They
If
do.
it hits all of it, it works.
No,
If a
there's
game
a
has-
quick pause. Witcher won Game of the Year in 2015, and that game deserved
When
it.
was the last time like a multiplayer based game won it? That's dependent on multiplayer.
I think Overwatch,
And when did it win it?
2016.
Okay. See, I don't disagree with that. I didn't play Overwatch 1, but I've played the sequel.
also-
the sequel's fun.
Yeah, but that's
I get where
because you
they're
just
coming
think
from.
video games shouldn't have a story. They should just be one
I don't
thing
think
only.
they shouldn't
Like,
have a story.
That's ass. It's an art form. It could be anything.
I don't think they shouldn't have a story. It's just it feels like the media in general focuses way too much on the story of the game rather than the gameplay. And if the story is good,
There's
part of
plenty
the
of
game.
people who focus on the gameplay. You're just solely focusing on the ones that don't.
if there's plenty of people who focus on the gameplay, why do games barely ever win based on gameplay?
They do win based on gameplay.
They
don't.
do.
They win
Elden
based on
Ring. Oh my
story.
god.
They win based
What
on
other
both.
game is-
A game doesn't get Game of the Year just for the story.
I'm gonna be honest.
There's
God of
plenty
War
of
is a
games
prime
out.
example of
like
that.
there's plenty of games out there.
Also
Yeah, no,
true,
but even
yeah.
then, there's plenty of games out there who have phenomenal
God of War
stories, but the
gameplay was
gameplay
boring
is dog
as
shit, and they
fuck.
don't win Game
Like-
of the Year.
I tried giving God of War a go, and an hour in, I just couldn't play it because it was so boring.
But that's a.
No, one thing I liked about God of War.
Yeah.
No, God of War
No.
had that
That's
one
just like your
singular
opinion, bro.
camera shot, and that was nice.
Is Doobie loud for anybody else? Like, I even turned him down, and he's still like peaking.
Yeah.
Who?
He just has a good mic.
Doobie.
Yeah, it sounds like your microphone's like in your mouth. I thought it was me, so I turned you down, but it's still hitting.
It's not that much louder. I don't know. I feel like games should be about competition. You know, you're not gonna see. I feel like
And there's
games
plenty
are
of
like
games like that.
they're a
Not all
form of
games have to
sport.
conform to that idea.
But then I don't consider them the same way. I don't really consider them a game. I consider them a story.
But that's just how you
That,
consider
it's a game.
It's-
like games
it's a
can be
story that-
anything. It's an art form. Like
But-
they
but
can be competitive, like how you see it, and they can be a complete story-based experience. It's a video game. It's not just one thing.
Also,
but
none of the
I don't
games
know,
that have
like,
a
I
great
don't-
story won solely on that story. Most of them
I-
had also pretty good, gameplay.
I guess I'm coming to the realization